Hello and welcome to After the Whistle. I am your host, Brian Dorrington, here with Magic Mukala Kabungo.
You know, last week was Good Friday. Today is not so bad.
No, Bad Friday? What happened?
Oh my gosh.
Our lead story?
Yeah, our lead story.
It's really depressing.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell us what happened?
I was having a good day yesterday. Then I go online and I see breaking news. Kyrie Irving is done for the season in postseason. And we won't see him back on the court until August or September or whenever the season starts.
5 months, they said?
4 to 5 months is an injury. And so that's... Yeah,
you seem really sullen today.
It's
a heartbreak.
But, that's a tough one.
What is? I'm very.
That's Patriots.
This is Patriots. I think. Does Pedro know that Kyrie Irving's a basketball player? There he is.
Well, he probably played football in high school.
Maybe. A little short. Who knows what he played? Anyway, this is confusing because this is an infection in his knee with screws. Yeah. Why can't they just give him some antibiotics to clean up the infection? I mean, I'm not a doctor. All you doctors out there watching the program, I know we have a lot of you. Can you please tell me why an infection needs a surgery and not just a boatload of antibiotics?
I have no idea, and especially
doesn't make sense to me.
Especially after they were telling us Kyrie's going to be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be ready for the postseason.
Right.
You know, they said they went in to do some cleanup on the knee, but he'll be. First they said it was like 6 to 8 weeks or whatever, and they said give him time. He'll come back during the playoffs, and then this. So, and it's the same knee that he hurt during the finals 3 years ago.
Right, and it's the screws that are infected, and that's why they have to go in and clean the infection out. But, I mean, how could they just not load them up with some sort of antibiotics? I don't know why.
There's something else that they're not telling the people, that's why.
There's got to be something else behind it. I don't buy the whole knee infection thing. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but to me, I know antibiotics can pretty much clear up any infection.
Yeah, this especially, you guys. They had championship aspirations with him on the court. With him on the court, they're a championship contender.
Okay, so
without him now.
Let me ask you one question. How far can they go? And this is 2 questions. And is this Terry's team now?
It's Terry Rozier's team right now. As of now, he's their best offensive player since Kyrie's got hurt. He's been scoring double digits in the 20s, 30s, getting rebounds close to triple doubles. So
he's going to be threes.
Yeah, he's going to be the guy to lead on. But now I'm just I don't even know if we're going to make it past the first round.
You don't think we can make it past the first round?
It depends who we play.
Who's probably going to be the Wizards?
I think either the Wizards, the Bucks, or the Heat. Either those three. I don't want to see the Heat in the first round.
Yeah, you don't like the Heat. What about the matchup? I think
if they play the Bucks, I think they'll be
the Bucks and even the Wizards. I mean, do you think the Wizards are even a better team? I don't think so. I think the Celtics can beat the
only
Wizards.
Team that matchup-wise is the Heat. That's the only team. But the Wizards and Bucks, the Wizards, they're the Wizards. They've proven over time that they can't. They've reached their peak. They can't. Then the Bucks, they're still young, and they're all the Greek freak. It's him. He's their entire offense, and
arguably the best player in basketball.
Which is another note. The Celtics could have drafted him, but we chose to draft Kelly Olynyk.
Hey,
so
easy. Come on, let's not bring up old history. But the Celtics still have the #1 defense in the NBA, and they've been 12-6 without Kyrie. That's not great, but also Marcus Smart. But also Marcus Smart is out of the lineup. He brings added defense to there, and he's a big emotional piece to that.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm just saying that I don't think it's all gloom. I don't think we're going to win the
all
East.
The championship, all the coming out the East stuff that I've had prepared I just threw it out the window because we're not coming out the East.
Yep.
It just doesn't work well. Without Kyrie, they can't. I mean, they could maybe make it to the second round, maybe to the conference finals because the East is so weak. But Philadelphia's been playing on a whole nother level the past couple weeks. They're on a 12-game winning streak, I believe.
They got the 3rd seed?
Yeah, they're number 4 right now. 4. They're behind Cleveland. And Cleveland's been playing a whole lot better. They still can't play defense, but their offense they've been scoring over 110 points
But what are those miracle run stories where lead guy gets injured, Terry Rozier is perfect, he's still young, he can come in, he can no, you're not saying that at all. It's that bad.
It's more real. It would be realistic if there wasn't a 6'8", 250-pound guy who's been to the finals 8 straight years in the Midwest.
Loyola Chicago. I'll just say that. Loyola Chicago, and they made it to the Final Four. They didn't win it all.
They did not have LeBron James.
But they don't have LeBron James. Okay.
So that's the problem. It's LeBron James. He's the problem.
But they had Sister Jean. They carried him through the way.
Yeah.
All right. I guess so. Let's move on to some. I don't know. Can we call this happy news? The Brandon Cooks trade. What's your thought on this?
And back to the NFL dominating headlines once again.
It always has to.
Brandon Cooks, the Patriots, in a spontaneous random move. When was it? Wednesday or something or Tuesday?
I don't know.
They traded Brandon Cooks to the Los Angeles Rams, an active team.
Which we both said that Rams need a wide receiver.
And I think that was a good fit for them, for the Rams. But the Patriots, now what do we, so what did we trade for? A first rounder last year for Cooks?
We traded the 32nd overall pick for Cooks. And this year, I think we got the 23rd in return, as well as we traded our 4th pick, but we had to give our 4th for their 6th.
It's a 4th. Right.
I mean, 4ths are pretty valuable.
The Patriots have shown they can find players like from 4 to 6 to the 7th. They can find players to contribute. But this, I guess this deal, they were working on a long-term contract with Cooks, but
I heard that too.
The negotiation got died down because I don't think they were going to pay him. What was the wide receiver market was like $14 million per year, and the Patriots weren't going to pay him that. So
and the Rams are already looking to restructure his contract.
Yeah, so but this is a good deal for the Rams. Now the Patriots got to make some moves with it. So Cooks, he wasn't.
he underperformed. He wasn't. I was expecting him to come in and be the number 1 receiver right away.
Yeah.
He didn't. I mean, his route running wasn't great. He's kind of small for that deep threat type receiver.
And he went to sleep in the Super Bowl.
And he did. I don't know what he was doing. He was running stopped in midfield.
Yeah, running around like a kid at the playground. And
So I mean, I don't mind it too much. And the Patriots did sign Jordan Matthews, who he didn't have a great season last year, but he's big. And in Philadelphia, he looked like he could have been a number 1 guy at some point.
Yeah, he definitely did. He was inconsistent. That was his problem. Consistency was his thing. So,
but he wasn't playing with Tom Brady. So
who
and
was
he's
he
only 25.
Who was he playing with?
Who's the quarterback? Nick Foles, I think. Whoever was playing in Philadelphia at that time. I don't know. And then last year it was Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo.
Okay, so so this will be a big asset for the Patriots. Yep. And also, if you look at Cooks, his numbers last year, he did go over 1,000 yards, but he was targeted 114 times. And he only caught 65.
Yeah, he did draw a lot of pass interference penalties.
Yeah,
but he was not. He didn't perform to where I thought he was going to be. So I don't mind the trade.
Yeah, and if you look at the Patriots wide receiver depth chart, we got Julian Edelman coming off an injury, Chris Hogan often injured, Malcolm Mitchell often injured, Cordarrelle Patterson, Kenny Britt often injured, and Riley McCarron and Cody Hollister and now Jordan Matthews. So
Cody Hollister, I think he's a tight end.
Is he? Well.
Yeah. But either way, I know.
There's 4 guys in there that are injury.
It's going to have to be wide receiver by committee. There's no number 1 guy there. So that's why you need to re-sign Gronk.
Definitely. 100%. So now we look at the draft. Now what are
they going to do with the picks? We got 5 picks within the first 100 picks.
Yeah.
2 first rounders, 2 second rounders,
a third rounder, 6 and a 7th.
And you know who they worked out this week?
Chubb?
My boy Mason Rudolph.
Oh, that's your guy.
That's my guy. They worked him out this week. They might be looking at him.
And Bob Kraft said they need they gotta be in the market for a quarterback. They're in the market for a quarterback, so they have to start looking for a quarterback.
So will they package those picks and go for a quarterback, or do you think they'll package those picks and go for an edge rusher?
They should go for an edge rusher because they're always in the win now. So they have the quarterback. So we've seen that defense was a problem for them last year and in the Super Bowl. So an edge rusher would definitely help. But if they can't find an edge rusher they like, I just go get a quarterback and just start grooming the quarterback for the future, because you know.
Or they could always go tackle. I just don't see Bill Belichick drafting 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders this year. He's going to package up, or maybe even trade back. I don't know, but he's not going to draft 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders this year. I think that I would love to see them make a play for Bradley Chubb. I don't know what it would take. It might take a first and a second to get up that high.
It's going to take a lot.
It's going to take a lot, but we need an edge rusher, and he's an elite one.
Yeah, but if you look at the draft, there's some players that may be available for them in the draft. Harold Landry, the edge rusher from Boston College, I think that could be. Yeah. I think he'll be around if they need one. They also have Josh Sweat from Florida State, and Jeff Holland from Auburn. So those are 3 guys I think they'll be around in the later parts of the draft for them if they choose to go that route. And I think Harold Landry would be I think that would be a solid pickup for them. But they have other needs. Like you said, they need an offensive lineman.
They need a tackle.
They need an offensive lineman, and they need some slot receivers. I think the slot receiver I'm looking at is Cortland Sutton from SMU. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Patriots.
All right. Well, so let's talk about. I think we mentioned it a little bit. Brady and Gronk. What's their future?
Gronk. What did he say? He's most likely returning.
Yeah, he's gonna return. There's no way he's gonna go. He's gonna play at least 2 more seasons.
Yeah, and I think
he's just a competitor.
Yeah, and then he said something about not liking how things are done the Patriot way kind of thing. How he's he has to hold back a lot of things, and just because it's that, but. I think we're seeing the end of 2 players' time in New England. So I think Gronk, he's going. How many years he has left on his contract? 1 or 2?
I don't know, but he wants it to be restructured because he's not making enough money.
Yeah, and if that's not restructured, you look for him to probably. Don't be surprised if they moved him during the season or sometime in the middle of the season.
It's a Belichickian move. That's how he is.
If they don't have a long-term deal, and as for Brady, he's 41. He's going to turn. By the time the season starts, he'll be 41. Now, when you get to that age, there's only 2 things: either you retire on your own, or the NFL retires you.
Yeah.
And the way the NFL usually retires old quarterbacks, it's never pretty because the last one I can remember is Brett Favre laying on the ground.
That was bad. Yeah. I remember that too, broken jaw. But I think that I'm not the one who believes that Tom Brady's going to play until he's 45. I just don't believe it. It's just not going to happen.
No,
it's not
physical.
It's not going to. No, it's not even. It's physical, but I think it's also going to be mental. Are you still going to want to be there? He's going to be 42 in the same locker room of guys that are 20, 21 years old.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's just one of those things. Like mentally, do you want to be here? Do you want to be with all these young guys? Look at all this stuff that's around me. And he's a competitor, but he's been a competitor for so long. I think he does do a good job keeping his body in shape. I think he's got probably 1 more year left in him.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's also, what more can you do?
What more can you do?
You've been to 8 Super Bowls. That's most all time. You've got 5. That's the most among quarterbacks in NFL history. Your legacy is always cemented. I mean, you're already considered the greatest quarterback or one of the greatest quarterback. I still don't understand how people think Joe Montana is a better quarterback just because he's 4-0 in the Super Bowl. But that's a whole different subject. But you're still top 2 quarterbacks of all time, and you have all this on your resume. It's like, what else? What more do you want to accomplish?
That's a good point. He might come to the realization that there's nothing. All right, speaking of great quarterbacks, we got RG3.
Ooh,
Baltimore making a splash.
This was very interesting.
It was very confusing for a guy who got cut by the Browns and sat out a whole season.
An entire season, and he, we've seen his off the field issues and issues with organizations and, self-promotion and just him just being just to himself. So this was very interesting. And also another reason there was Kaepernick. They had a chance to sign him last season, and they go this route once they're. It's just confusing to me.
It just totally proves that the reason Colin Kaepernick isn't being signed is because of the protests.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with
football. Because Colin Kaepernick is 10 times the player that RG3 is, and he doesn't carry. And RG3's baggage is also his injuries. His knees are all busted up. He can't stay healthy. He's got concussions. He's just has not had success in the NFL. He's not an NFL quarterback. He should be looking at the XFL, and I'm serious. He's at that stage. Yeah. Brock Osweiler and Brandon Whedon got signed as backup quarterbacks before RG3. Okay, so that's telling you something right there.
I still don't understand how Brock Osweiler keeps getting these jobs. I think he has photos on somebody.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
I really don't understand how anybody in their right mind could look at Brock Osweiler's resume and be like, I want him on my team. But anyways, yeah, so with RG3, now the Ravens, this team, ever since they went to the Super Bowl, they won that Super Bowl, it's just been
downhill.
I don't think they made the playoffs once. Since then, Joe Flacco has regressed tremendously.
He's always been mediocre in the first place.
He had that one playoff run that which led to a Super Bowl, and after that, it's just like this. He's just an average quarterback.
And then he got paid after that, so now he did his deal. So now
you have an average quarterback, and then you bring up a below-average quarterback to be the backup. Now, who's the third-string quarterback? Because they'll probably be the garbage man or something, the way they're going to pick.
They got to draft somebody.
Yeah, they definitely need to draft somebody. But RG3, I'll say this for him. He did show some signs that he could have been what he could have been with those back-to-back 3,000-yard seasons, his first two seasons. But it's all mental mistakes, not knowing how to slide.
Yep, not knowing when to get out of bounds.
Trying to stay, yeah. And so, that still seems like stuff he still did when he was with the Browns. He had a few games with the Browns that he showed flashes of what he was. But other than that, I mean, the one good thing I'll say about him is career completion percentage. He's 63%.
Yeah, I just really look at his frame. I look at guys like him, Teddy Bridgewater, and Johnny Manziel. That they just don't have. They're athletic guys, but they don't have the frame to be able to withstand the hits from 290-pound defensive ends coming at you full speed. They just can't withstand that type of abuse. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. So this is once again another interesting move by the Cleveland Browns. So maybe they won't be drafting a quarterback.
No, who knows? You mean the Ravens?
I mean the Ravens. Sorry, my bad. Whatever.
You're still upset about Kyrie. I know you're not thinking straight today.
I'm highly upset. Now, in other NFL news, Bob McNair, the
no
Texans,
relation to Steve McNair.
None at all. They're two different guys. So Bob McNair the other day he said he does not regret saying his inmates comment that he made at the owners' meeting back whenever he made them.
Just last year, it was a while ago.
Yeah, so he told the Wall Street Journals that he doesn't regret saying it, or he took back his apology, basically saying. Then he said he was referring to executives.
Yeah, the NFL executives. Yeah. So he wasn't talking about his own players. He was talking about NFL executives. He's really the hero in this situation, speaking bad about the NFL.
And he called his own player a troublemaker when Dwayne Brown.
That's right. He's just trying to cause trouble.
Yeah, he called him a troublemaker, and then what did he do? He traded him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, so does he think we're dumb? Does he think people are dumb?
It's just another one of those billionaire owners that's just kind of out of touch. It's just, just stop talking and just be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Just let the organization run itself. I mean, he's 80 years old. He's out of touch. Not to say that that's everybody who's 80 is out of touch, but this guy is, okay?
Yeah, extreme. I have a theory about what I always say about people that are 65 plus. They're all stuck in their ways, how they were when they were.
Well, we have a lot of big 65 plus fan base here, so nobody watching this show. Trust us.
Nobody watching this show. Maybe those that are in.
But billionaires, the billionaires. For you billionaires watching this show, because I know there are a lot of you there too.
Yeah, and then he goes on to say to try to keep politics out of sports, but this is the guy that gave $1 million to the inauguration of the president, and he was a strong supporter of the president. So what are you trying to get out of here? You're saying one thing, then you do another thing, as if people have forgetful memory that you didn't donate $1 million to an inauguration.
But the thing is that kind of everybody did forget about the inmates comment. It was just one of those things where he just brought it up himself because this is a new article. It's like that was blown over. Now you just started the whole thing again. What do you think?
And then you lie about who you were targeting, as if that was the case, you would have never traded your offensive tackle because he called you he calls you out on that nonsense. And even before that, he has a track record of bringing politics into sports, because there was a story after the 2008 election that he went to his players and he said, some of you guys are very happy, but not all of us feel the same way about the results of the election, the 2008 election. And so...
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he had... I was watching something earlier. They said that. So it's like, you have a track record. We know where you stand with your politics. We know, which side of the party that you're on. And so...
So, I mean, and that's fine. If he's going to express himself and he wants to go and he wants to support, whatever politics, that's fine. But don't criticize your players for doing it. Let your players do the same thing.
Exactly. Trying to control them. And
doesn't make any sense.
But we're going to take a break and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the Final Four, the men's and women's, actually. One was more competitive than the other. So, quick break and we'll be back with the Final Four. And we got WrestleMania preview, too.
Ooh, and golf.
And we are back. We're going to talk about the NCAA Final Four, men's and women's. But first, we're going to talk about the thrilling game between Villanova and Michigan.
No. First, I think we should talk about who won the bracket challenge, which was me. I came out on top. But unfortunately, I can't be the one to win the $100 gift card. But it was actually Sean Donahue who came in second place and who will be receiving a $100 Amazon gift card. So congratulations, Sean. We'll get that out to you. Mukala's going to pay it out of his own pocket.
The conspiracy theorists going to think this was like an inside thing.
If somebody could actually rig the brackets, I would like to meet that person and have them, and I'd take them to Vegas and we'd run the show.
Just so everybody know, I finished last.
Yes.
It was tough. Yeah.
It was bad.
Everything was bad for me this March Madness.
This basketball season's been tough for you.
Yeah, man, it's giving me gray hairs. But Villanova versus Notre Dame. Villanova versus Michigan. It should have been Villanova versus Notre Dame.
That'd probably be more competitive.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this game, once again, it started at 9:20. I don't know why it started so late, but I was falling asleep. I fell asleep at halftime. I'm not going to lie. Once Villanova went up 10. But Villanova dominated this game. They dominated this entire tournament. Mm-hmm. So, every single one of their games, they won by double digits.
12 or more.
Yeah, 26 versus Radford, 23 versus Alabama, 12 versus West Virginia, 12 versus Texas Tech, 16 versus Kansas, 17 versus Michigan. So this team really showed that they were the most dominant team in college basketball this season. And the thing about this game on Monday, it was their bench. Well, just one player that came off the bench who did all the damage.
DiVincenzo.
Dante DiVincenzo, the Italian from Delaware, scored 31 points.
The redheaded Italian.
Yeah, he scored 31 points. He was doing everything, getting to the rim, hitting threes.
Off the bench, too.
Yeah, we all know he should be a starter, but I think that he came off the bench for his offense. That's pretty much the reason he came off the bench, but he's a starter no matter what. And Michigan looked good for a while in this game. Wagner showed he was a matchup problem for them, but, his conditioning wasn't all that great. He got tired at like 5 minutes into the game, and then Michigan started they couldn't make a shot. They were 3 for 23 from 3. Not good.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Villanova, should we consider them on their way to being the Alabama of football?
No.
No? They've averaged 33 wins in each of their past 5 seasons. They've got 2 NCAA titles in the past 3 years. I'm not saying they're there yet, but their program, and there's a lot more parity in college basketball. But I think if you're looking for a team that could be a dynasty that's constantly there around, I'm going to put them ahead of Duke and UNC and Kentucky and Kansas. I'm putting them ahead of those guys.
I can't do it because college basketball is so random. You could.
Well, that's what I mean.
We can't see them again.
It's so random, but look at all the consistent success that they've had over the past 5 years.
North
33 games every year.
North Carolina has had the same success the past 5 years as well. The past 8 years.
Did they win 2 national titles in 3 years?
They were in 2. They lost to a buzzer beater to Villanova, but they've shown, and also college basketball, it's just so random that they could have a great season again next year, but then the tournament, it's this one-game tournament. You just, it'll just.
Right. I mean, and that's what's great.
That's the crazy thing about college basketball.
But so I'm just saying, considering the randomness of it and how anybody can lose, the fact that they looked so dominant throughout the tournament tells me, at least in my mind, that they're a step above right now, this program. Well, and I do know they have a lot of seniors leaving, but to me they're the closest thing to an Alabama in college basketball.
But you also got to consider some of their underclassmen might enter the draft as well. So it's always the turnover. You just got to wait and see.
Do they have any guys that are projected to be?
DiVincenzo was about to project. Is almost after the tournament he had. Is he gonna be a
first rounder?
Yeah, after the first round, he's had. They're considering him. They're seriously looking at him as a first round pick. He has a talent to be a first round pick. So
we'll see.
Yeah, and Jalen Brunson didn't even have a good game, and they still won.
I know Brunson. He was 4 for 13.
Yeah, 1 for 5 from 3. He didn't have the best game, but that just shows that they were a solid team collectively. So
they were deep too.
Now the women's Final Four. This was exciting. I watched the game. Notre Dame.
I missed this.
I watched this when I was at a bar and I was watching it. Notre Dame almost blew this game twice. They literally almost blew this game twice. So in regulation they were up 79-74, and UConn just quick 5 points to send the game to overtime. Let's go to quick 5 points. The game went to overtime once again. Notre Dame was up again about 5 or so points with probably like 30 seconds left. UConn again ties it up, and then I can't even pronounce her name, but
try.
It'll be fun. Arike Ogunbowale.
Okay, and we'll come back next week and we'll see if you were right.
I should know how to pronounce Nigerian names since majority of my friends are Nigerian, but
that one's a little difficult. Yeah,
so she back-to-back buzzer beaters. To send them to the championship and to win the championship, that's pretty big. That's now I think Notre Dame's the only team that's had a solid record against UConn these past 5-6 years. They're the only team that's actually beaten them a few times. So it was a really exciting game, both games, especially to see it go down to the wire like that. I was like, woo! And I honestly thought they were going to blow it. I thought they were going to blow it against UConn because they were missing free throws at the end. They were just giving UConn too many chances, and I'm like, this is going to bite them. It's going to come back to bite them. But she hit that game-winning shot. I was like, well, best game of the season.
All right, can't believe I missed it. I don't know what I was doing.
It was better than the men's. It was more.
Well, I was expecting the men's to be more competitive.
Me too, but hey, the ladies always, take the spotlight. So we got to give them credit. Congratulations to them.
Congratulations, Notre Dame. So now let's talk about your favorite sport.
Golf, yeah.
We got the Masters. We got to talk about the majors.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, are you believing the hype? Is he back? I mean, after we're filming this on Friday, so,
Is he back?
After the first round, he was tied for 26th. I mean, he'll probably make the cut into the weekend.
He's tied for 27th right now.
Is he? Do you have it up? Yeah, they're constantly changing.
Yeah, there's 7 players tied for first place.
How many years in a row have we been hearing the Tiger's back? Tiger's back. Tiger's
Since
back.
Like 2009.
It's like 2009. And Tiger is, a lot of people are saying he's the favorite to win this tournament. Are these people, where are they coming up with this stuff?
They're just delusional. They just have these, they just want Tiger. I think if he wins again, he's going to set a record or tie a record for most green jackets or something like that. Yeah. So I think that's what they want. They're hoping he does that, but he hasn't won a Masters since 2005.
Right.
So, and since 2010, I've only seen one person actually win 2 of those, and that's Bubba Watson. Bubba Watson, he's the only one that's won it. Every year it's been someone different. So I don't see Tiger winning this Masters. He's too many injuries.
That's his problem. It's because he has such a vicious drive, and he uses so much of his back and his knees that you just can't sustain that.
Yeah, especially once you have one back issue or back surgery, you're never going to be the same again.
Oh, it just gets worse.
Yeah, so I don't know. People could keep hoping that he's back, but
it's not going to be back.
How old is Tiger? Like, is he 40 yet, or?
I don't know.
But
maybe Pedro can look it up and then say it in here. Look, we have internet right here. We can just look it up. But the winner of last year's Masters Sergio Garcia had a pretty embarrassing day on Thursday.
I think he'd like to
where
forget.
he got a 13 on a par 5 on hole 15.
I think I could do better than that.
Oh, I know I could do better than that. I'm not a good. I mean, I golf. I'm not very good, but I know that I would. I mean,
and Tiger's 42.
Once you once you go double bogey, usually just pick your ball up when you're playing amongst gentlemen. But that poor guy just had to hit it in the water 5 times. He won last year. He's not going to make the cut after that.
Well, sucks for him.
Do you have any favorites?
Me?
Who are you watching in this tournament?
Honestly, by going what I saw, maybe I'll just root for Jordan Spieth.
I think Spieth. He's done it before.
Yeah.
He's got the.
He'll be the next one to be a
green
multiple.
jacket.
What is it?
Yeah. He won in 2015, I believe.
2015.
He's great at Augusta. I'm also looking at Rory McIlroy. He could be the 6th player in history to win all 4 major titles. He's playing some great golf right now. He had the best opening round he's had in Augusta since, I believe, 2011. But a sleeper pick, Justin Rose, and I got some facts here. He's finished. He's had in the last 5 Masters. He's finished in the top 10. Each Masters, and last year he was in the playoffs, which was a very exciting playoffs against Sergio Garcia. It was down to the wire with those 2 guys, and this year he has 8 top 5 finishes in his past 14 starts with 3 victories. So he's playing hot, and he's done well at this course. He could be a sleeper to win this, but right now I think Jordan Spieth is the favorite.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The Masters is always entertaining the last day on Sundays is always the entertaining day.
Sundays, especially when it goes into if it goes into the playoffs. Those are fun to watch.
All right, so that's our expertise on golf. As you can see, Brian plays golf. I do not. Maybe one day I'll hit the holes, but I don't know.
That's my club back there.
Yeah, that's his club. I don't know. I play miniature golf. So we're going to take another break, and we're going to talk about WrestleMania when we come back with David Riley. So this is, April. It's a great time of the year. We got the Masters. We got golf.
Draft.
NFL draft, NBA playoffs. It's a good time in sports. So we're going to take this break, and when we come back, David's going to be in this seat talking about wrestling.
Hello and welcome back. I'm here with Dubious Dave Riley. Dubious, yeah. It's just the first D thing that comes into my mind, and I like alliteration. So this is the big one.
You love alliteration.
I love alliteration. This is the big one, the Walt Disney World of the Super Bowl, of whatever, the World Series of professional wrestling, WrestleMania, this Sunday. This card is absolutely stacked. It starts at 5.
I was about to say, this is one of the manias I've been looking forward to the most in recent years.
It starts at 5 and it's going to be on to like 11:30. My couch is going to be very upset at me for just the abuse that I'm going to be putting it through for all that time. But let's talk first. Let's start with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. What are your thoughts on this match?
Well, first off, Daniel Bryan's back.
Yes, that's going to get the biggest pop of the night when
he
it comes
will
out.
get the craziest reaction from the crowd all night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Something I don't think anybody saw happening anytime soon because of how protective WWE is with people who have had as many injuries, especially concussions, as Daniel has. But it's going to be amazing to see him back in the ring. It'll be a breath of fresh air again. He was such a fantastic talent in the ring. That being said, for who I think will win the match, I think it'll be Shane and Daniel.
You think so?
I think they're actually going to win, and the stipulation of the match being that if Shane and Daniel win, then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn won't be back on SmackDown.
No, they will be back on SmackDown. They lost their jobs, and now they'll be invited back to SmackDown, which is the stipulation.
If those two win.
Correct.
Yeah. So if Shane and Daniel win, they're not.
Right. So what do you? So you think they're going to go to
Raw.
I think they're going
to go to Raw.
I can see that happening, but they were just switched in the last Superstar shakeup. They were on Raw, then they moved them to SmackDown.
I honestly don't even know if that's going to be a huge thing going forward.
I think that is. I think instead of the draft, they're going to do this whole Superstar shakeup. I'm not sure, but I think that because of the stipulation that Owens and Zayn will get back, what I'm seeing here. And I don't want Daniel Bryan to lose in his first match back, but I think it's going to happen. I'm seeing a heel turn from Shane McMahon. I think that could happen, and it could cost him the match. And Daniel Bryan will unfortunately lose his first match at WrestleMania. So that's my prediction. We'll keep track of these to see who win, to see who got more picks right at the end.
And I think it'll still be fun to watch.
Oh, it's going to be fun to watch.
Like between whatever antics Owens and Zayn are going to pull and the interesting moves that Shane and Daniel will have, I'm sure it'll be very fun to watch.
You know, Shane always will have at least one big spot.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to the match I actually think that could steal the show. The one I'm looking forward to the second. I'm looking forward to the second the most, and this is the Intercontinental title match. We've got Seth Rollins, The Miz, and Finn Balor. And if you saw the match on Raw that Finn Balor and Seth Rollins put on last week, man, that was a treat. And what a preview! You got three.
I feel like Rollins has been on
ring.
fire lately.
Been on fire lately. This could steal the show. What do you think about it?
I think it'll steal the show too.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that The Miz is going to retain though, just because he's so close to overtaking that record. And it seems like lately. They're very big on people, like newer people, taking the records from the previous wrestling generations. So I do feel like The Miz will win through some sort of cheap way, but I think he'll win, and he'll maybe. But I think he'll squeak by with the win.
See, this one is a toss-up for me. I could see all three of these guys walking out champion.
They're all talented enough.
They're all talented, and Miz is the best on the mic that there is in the business right now. He deserves a universal title run, in my opinion.
Oh, he definitely
I don't know if he's going to get it soon, but I think I'm going to lean towards Balor on this one. I mean, Rollins beat him on Raw, and I think Rollins should be in the universal title picture. I don't know if the Intercontinental is really for him right now. And I think The Miz is probably going to go on to feud with Daniel Bryan now that Daniel Bryan's back. I don't know if
it would make the most sense given everything.
Given their history. I don't know if Bryan will go to Raw or Miz will go to SmackDown. So I think Balor is the one guy who I could see really needing the belt right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
But it could go either way for me. All three of these guys could easily win.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's move to one of the other secondary titles matches, which originally I wasn't too excited about. That's Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, Bobby Roode, and Rusev. I wasn't interested until they added Rusev into the match. Now I am. What are your thoughts?
Well, considering how crazy with the fans he's been recently, Rusev might get the second biggest reaction of the night. Yeah? I'm expecting a lot of Rusev Day chants.
And a lot of Rusev Day shirts.
And I feel like Bobby Roode and Randy Orton them two, whenever they match up in that match, I feel like it'll be glorious. Really.
Yes, there you go.
I'm not sure. This is the only one I'm not entirely sure on, and I don't even know exactly who to predict as a winner, mostly because I haven't been watching SmackDown recently.
Hard to watch them all.
It's a commitment to watch all of them. I'd love to see Rusev win, though. He's crazy over with the fans. He's a talented guy.
Mm-hmm. Lost a lot of weight now. He's in much better shape than he was before. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Rusev on this just because he's so over with his fan. He's been selling tons of merchandise.
Isn't he like their top seller right now?
I think he is the top seller, Rusev, because of his Rusev Day chant. The guy that everybody used to boo when he was with Putin, supporting Putin and had the U.S. championship. That whole crazy angle. But Jinder Mahal, I hope he doesn't win. He needs to go away. Bobby Roode and Randy Orton could have a great one-on-one feud if Roode would have turned heel. I think he's a much better natural heel. So I think those two could feud, and they don't really need the title. I would love to see Rusev get it. I think he deserves it, and I do think he will win the title on that one. So we're not even going to be able to touch on half of the matches. We're just going through some of the important ones. Let's jump to Charlotte versus Asuka for the women's SmackDown title. Asuka is on a 2-year undefeated streak, I believe.
Something insane like that,
undefeated, and Charlotte is the champion. Asuka the challenger. Thoughts on this one?
Well, one thing I'm looking forward to the most, actually, is both of their entrances.
Yes.
They're very flashy people.
Absolutely.
And everybody tries to go over the top at Mania, so it'll be interesting to see what their entrances will look like. I think this will be a very highly entertaining match for anybody that is interested in women's wrestling. These two are phenomenal. I do think Asuka's streak comes to an end, though. I do think, out of everybody on the current roster, Charlotte might be one of the very few who actually could conceivably do it.
I believe, probably the only one.
And if they're going to that's a big event for her to lose. So if it's going to be anywhere, I would think it would be either here or SummerSlam, one of the two.
See, that's bold, because I think Asuka's, I don't see them breaking the streak here. Although Vince McMahon and the WWE has broken streaks in the past. They've done it. They haven't handled it the best way. But this one's just so built up. The whole story is about the streak. I don't see Asuka losing here. There's rumors that this might actually go on last as the main event, which might not.
Really?
I've heard those rumors. I don't know if it's true. We're getting 1 minute. We might have to run a little bit over just because we still have to talk about Lesnar versus Reigns for the Universal title. Thoughts on that?
Interesting, but failed build-up, I think.
Yeah.
Trying to get Reigns, like the fans on Reigns' side, by having him continuously use the argument that a lot of people have used, why is a part-timer the actual full-time champ? I think Roman will win just because that seems to be like the way that they're going on this all the time, trying to, I don't want to say shove him down our throats, but that's kind of what's happening. Yeah. I think it'll be a small margin of victory for him, and I think there'll be a little bit of carnage, but I do go with Reigns.
See, this is the match I'm looking forward to the most, just because I love it when every time Brock Lesnar walks into the ring. He's a stiff wrestler. He always goes full out. Guys,
intimidating.
Intimidating. German suplexes, real punches, real knees. Split open Randy Orton when they fought. I mean, I just love it. I mean, it is pure carnage. You said the word first. And he's going back to UFC, which is the rumor. They do need a full-time champion, in my opinion, on Raw. I do see Roman Reigns
You do need the full-time champ.
You do need the full-time champion. It's been
but
too long
if there is going to be a part-timer who's going to be the champ, he's the most believable, definitely.
Of course, but I like Roman Reigns in this one too. Okay, the one that independent wrestling fans are the most excited about.
And myself, actually.
And myself, and you. Okay, a lot of people are with you on that. And AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. What's the deal with this? Who's taking this one?
I think this will be the match of the night.
Could be.
I do think it will be, and
could be.
Depending on how it goes, it could even be the match of the year. Who knows? Those two, I remember hearing they had a match at the Tokyo Dome years ago, and it was fantastic. I was split on this, but I do think they're going to have Nakamura win it. But it easily could go either way. These are two very talented guys.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think that Shinsuke is going to win it too. I think that AJ should be moved to Raw. He's pretty much held down SmackDown since the brand split. They need to get him in the Universal title picture and give Shinsuke, see if Shinsuke can carry SmackDown for a little bit. He might be able to. They do have great chemistry from New Japan. We are getting the wrap-up sign, but we have to talk about the most important match. Sorry, Pedro, back there. I know you don't like us, but Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Ronda Rousey's debut, probably the biggest signing in WWE history, in my opinion. Thoughts?
And because of exactly those reasons, I think that Angle and Rousey are going to win.
Yep.
It wouldn't make any sense for her first match to be a loss on such a big stage. Media outlets will eat it up if she wins. And I think Steph and Triple H are big enough to be able to eat the loss for that.
They'll get the Triple H and Steph will get their upcomings. They put so much money into Ronda Rousey. There's no way that she's going to lose this. Okay, folks, we went over time, but we've got a great athletes corner for you right now. Let's cut directly to that.
All right, welcome to another edition of Athletes Corner. This time I'm really excited. We got some Bulldogs. I'm a Bulldog. Been having a lot of classical folks lately, but it's glad to see some Bulldogs in here. With me, I got sophomore Mason Jean-Baptiste, freshman. I'm gonna mess up his name probably, but Ademide Badmus. That wasn't close, huh?
Nah.
Pronounce the name for the people.
Ademide Badmus.
There we go, my Nigerian brother, and I have Alonzo Linto. How you doing?
Good, I'm doing good.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
You guys just, you guys capped off your season last night. You guys had the banquet. Just down the line, tell me a little something about the season. What did you guys all learn about each other this past season?
I think we all learned like how to feel. We felt each other out, learned how to play together. Beginning of the season, it was bumpy. Towards the end, we just came together, played as one.
Definitely.
Yeah, like in the beginning, it was like really bad, and like we were like just trying to figure out like what each role was and how to like play like together.
Yeah.
But like during the end of the season, we got it together and we were like playing good.
Yeah.
It was a tough start, and then throughout the season, we just kept practicing, working hard together. So then that just built our chemistry up.
Yeah. How were you guys able to, get that chemistry? Because this is a new coaching regime. You were on the team last year with the old coach that passed away. But how was it? How was the transition?
I mean, this year was my first year at Lynn English.
Oh, okay.
So like, I didn't know about the coach belt last year, but
All right.
it took me some time to build chemistry up with them.
And for you as a freshman, being there, playing your freshman year, how was that? Just the learning experience.
Yeah, I learned a lot this year, like cause like during like practice, sometimes I'd have like an attitude, but like I learned from all the mistakes I had, and I just got better.
Definitely. And Mason, for you, what did your game improve like from last year to this year, from the start of the season to the end of the season? What were some things that you saw in yourself that you were improved on?
Beginning of the season, I was turning the ball over quite a lot, and throughout the season, just got stronger. Worked on my ball handling and limited my turnovers.
All right. Hey, can you guys just talk a little bit about the tournament run you guys had? You guys lost in the second round to Lowell. They turned out to be a pretty good team, almost made it to the Garden. But what would you guys say was kind of that game got out of hand? What would you guys say that you guys didn't do well that could have helped you guys win?
Free throws. A lot of free throws, yeah. We had to, next year we had to come better and make a statement. And just, right now we're just getting in the gym, getting better every day, getting ready for next year.
Definitely. And for you, as a sophomore, going into next year, what are some things that you're looking to improve on?
Probably like shooting, because I struggled a lot with like making free throws.
And for you, Alonzo?
Turn over the ball and rebounding.
Can you guys talk a little bit about what you guys learned from Coach? Everybody knows he's played at the highest level. He's played with some great players. What did you guys learn from him this season?
Learned a lot. He taught me how to like push the ball up and stuff, like point guard things, because I'm not really a guard. I'm really like a wing, like a 2 or a 3. But he taught me a lot of skills about being a guard and defending a lot.
And for you?
Well, he yells at you a lot. You have to learn how to play through it. Just take it in, say all right, don't talk back, and like this year we had to learn how to play faster than usual.
Who would you say got yelled at the most?
Probably me.
Probably. Yeah.
I definitely got yelled at a lot.
Is it because you're the point guard? Because you have the ball in your hand a lot?
Sometimes he'll want to like choke me, try to get at me.
Now, for you guys, what do you guys say about Alonzo's leadership? Because from the games I saw, he did a little bit of everything. He tried to get everybody involved. He tried to score as well. He tried to be Mr. All-Around. What would you guys say is some of his strengths that helped you guys out on the court?
I would say his strengths are going to the basket, but then once teams start to dumb down, he can also dish it out, get everyone involved, and yeah, he just helped us out all around.
All right.
Yeah, that's basically it.
And for the big man, what is it like to have a big man like Ademide down low, somebody you could throw the ball into?
It was a good thing we had him this year.
Yeah.
Because like, if someone was to stop me from scoring and doing what I do, I'd just stop, slow down the game, and give it to him in the post and let him work and do what he does best.
All right. Now, what are some things that you guys are looking on doing this summer as far as, you guys are bringing back a pretty veteran team next year. You're losing a couple seniors, but you guys are going to have some people coming back, a core team coming back. So what are you guys looking on to improve?
A lot. Looking to improve on everything, really. Like getting in the gym every day, working on a shot, dribbling, attacking the rim, passing, a lot of stuff.
All right. And for you two guys?
I would say we're just working to play. We're working to get to play with each other even more than we did this year, and like everyone's just working on their weaknesses, getting better every day.
All right. And do you guys have really good? I know the ultimate goal is to win the championship, to win the state title, bring a state title to Lynn English. But what are some other little things that you guys want to accomplish? It could be individually or just as a group.
What was that thing called? Getting the North Conference championship.
Northeastern Conference.
Yeah.
Hang a banner up.
Hanging banner up.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that'll definitely be big because the last time English won it was like 2009, I believe. So, I mean, you guys definitely got all the talent to do so. It's just putting in the work. So, I mean, what do you guys? School's almost over. You guys got a couple months left. So, what do you guys planning on to end the school season? What's you guys plans and stuff?
Getting in the gym, getting better every day.
Are you lifting weights?
Yeah. Got us lifting weights every day. Monday through Thursday, lifting weights, and then after that, we want to start getting into the gym after. So in like a week or two, we want to start doing that.
And can you two just speak on being named NEC All-Stars this year?
Feels good because they selected us two on the team to be NEC All-Stars, and we get to go out and showcase what we can do in front of a lot of people.
Definitely. For you as a freshman to be named that's pretty big. So you have quite the future ahead of you. So, just to know that you were acknowledged as a freshman, then you still got a lot of improvement to do, so there's more to come. What's that like for you?
It feels good because when we play, I get to show people what I can do, and it's gonna feel good.
And lastly, we ran out of time, but can you guys pinpoint a game that you guys had that that everything kind of came together for you guys when you guys kind of figured everything out with each other as a team?
What game was that?
I think it was probably the second time we played ever at St. John's Prep.
Yeah,
I would say that too.
Big change.
Yeah, you guys just because the game was more competitive?
Yeah, we still lost, but everyone was playing together, everyone was doing their part. We were all doing little things. If we made a couple more free throws, we would have won the game, but
that's how basketball goes, right?
Yeah.
Make some, miss some, but you guys got a bright future ahead of y'all. Hopefully next time y'all back here, y'all got the state title and we can talk about that one. So we thank you guys for coming. Come back anytime. He got my number, he called me anytime, you guys, whenever you feel like it. All right? So we checking out of here. It's been Athletes Corner. I'm gonna toss it back to Brian.
All right, we are back, and we are going to talk about another sport that we've been getting a lot of interest on is boxing. We're very well rounded today. We covered golf, we covered basketball, football, professional wrestling, and now we're on to boxing.
We're a diverse show.
We're very diverse. Okay, so
Manny
big
Pacquiao.
fight, the fight that and I didn't even know this was happening, but you told me about it, and I don't know why it flew under my radar. Usually on top of these things, but Manny Pacquiao against Lucas Matisse. I am slacking. There's just so much going on in the world of sports.
Yeah, so I don't know nothing about Lucas Matisse, so you're going to have to educate me on him.
Lucas Matisse, I mean, he is a vicious, vicious puncher. He's not the most technically proficient guy, but he fights it an incredibly entertaining offensive style, and he's one of those guys with one knockout punch power. He was on a roll until about, I think it was 2015, he got KO'd for the first time in his career.
Not good.
Not good. And he was on a roll, and he took 2 years off from wrestling. 2 years off from boxing. I got wrestling in the brain. He took 2 years off. He came back. He's got a few wins under his belt. He's a legitimate contender. He's getting up there in age, but who knows what Lucas Matisse comes up. If like the 2014 Lucas Matisse shows up, Manny Pacquiao could be retired.
Yeah, and doesn't Manny Pacquiao have 2 fights this month in his homeland in the Philippines? From what I'm seeing,
I don't know. Does he have another fight lined up? I'm not entirely sure of that.
Oh no, that's the conference. That's the press conference. So they have the press conference to announce the fight this month, the 18th and 20th.
Gotcha.
In the Philippines. So, last I saw Manny Pacquiao, he lost due to terrible judging decision by
Jeff Horn.
Jeff Horn.
Yeah,
that
was awful. I mean, it wasn't as bad as the Bradley. Maybe it was as bad as the very first Bradley, but Manny Pacquiao has gotten some very bad decisions in his career.
And which is also what you always talk about boxing and the judges, how they're so corrupt, and they're one of the most corrupt judges in sports. So as long as this fight doesn't go into the hands of the judges, because if it does, you're going to see a lot of upset people as usual. Manny Pacquiao, I think he's like on the downside of his career.
He is.
Because after that Floyd Mayweather fight, it's just been, he's just been, my opinion, I think he's just been taking fights just to take fights. And it's, I think the love of boxing is leaving him, because if you just look at the way he's been fighting, it's
I think it actually happened right after the Juan Manuel Marquez fight, where he got knocked out coming off the Tim Bradley loss. I think that and he was doing great in that fight, and then it was just, brutal one-punch knockout. I think after there, you started to see his age, but then he's had a few good fights recently. He hasn't looked bad. He hasn't fought anybody too good. Beat Rios, Algieri, not super spectacular guys, but he's still entertaining, and he's still got great offense, and he switched up his trainer. He's not with Freddie Roach anymore. I mean, they were as close as trainer and fighter can be. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, Manny Pacquiao is top 10 greatest fighters of all time.
Yeah.
Only fighter to be champion in 8 different weight classes. Probably my favorite boxer of all time. I just love his offensive, aggressive style. And I don't think this match is going to be left to the judges, just because both of these guys can punch, and both of these guys, like we said about Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, there's going to be carnage in the ring for this one.
So this looks like it's going to be a fight.
Do you have any predictions?
I'm going to go with Matisse, just because. Matisse, just because the last time I saw Pacquiao, I just, my eyes were like, this isn't the same guy. So
I'm going to go with Pacquiao, and I'm going to hope that Pacquiao wins just because I still like him. And if Pacquiao wins, one of these young guns is going to call him out. Whether it's, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Terrence Crawford, any of these, Errol Spence Jr., because if Manny Pacquiao can look good here against Matisse, he can be back in the big pay-per-view picture, especially about one of these young guys wanting to make a name for themselves. Manny Pacquiao does have one big pay-per-view fight left in him, if he can get past Lucas Matisse.
Mayweather again?
No. Not going to happen. No, not Mayweather. But he does have a fight left in him, a big one.
Lastly, before we get up out of here, there was a big fight this past weekend, Joshua versus Parker. Did you watch the fight?
I didn't watch the fight. There's just been too much on. I mean, I do, and it was on at a weird time because it was in England, and I pretty much I pretty much knew that Anthony Joshua was going to win. He's the best heavyweight fighter right now, in my opinion, and hopefully we're going to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua next.
Yeah, Deontay Wilder was supposed to be at that fight, but he said he was supposed to be at that fight, ringside. No, there's something, because he said he was talking to Joshua's people, and he said, after the fight he gets in the ring and they just have a little face-off or whatever, I guess. from
Yeah,
that
they do
didn't
that
kind of
though.
work out.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
Joshua's people didn't want to do that, and he said he didn't end up going to the fight. But that's the fight that I think a lot of people want to see is Joshua and Wilder, and that will draw a lot of boxing fans. I think that will set records, and that's a fight that should happen. So maybe it'll happen later this year or sometime next year.
It'll probably, it'll set attendance records. Maybe it's got to be held in England, just because Anthony Joshua's the big draw there.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest draw in England since Ricky Hatton. So it's not going to do as well in pay-per-view sales, because if you want to be really big in boxing, you got to make it to Vegas, and you got to have big pay-per-view buy numbers. The way that it's working with Anthony Joshua and these guys in England is they're very big there, and they get big live audience crowds, but there's like really no pay-per-view equivalent there.
Gotcha.
So this fight will happen in England. If there's a rematch or something, that'll happen in Vegas, and that'll be the big pay-per-view
I
fight.
just don't want this to be kind of like Pacquiao Mayweather, where they were teasing us for like 6 years about Pacquiao Mayweather, and then when the fight came, it was, it didn't, the interest was there, but people were just disappointed in the fight.
Yeah,
So
that fight should have happened in 2008.
yeah, so I hope this doesn't go that way, but. Well, that's all we got for today's show.
We're out of time.
We actually went through everything. So
Wow, we got through it all for
we
once.
got through it. We were on time. So you guys have been watching After the Whistle. I'm your host, Mukala Kabongo, along with Brian Dorrington. Check us out. Facebook, Lynn Community Television. YouTube, Lynn Community Television. Subscribe. LCTV News is up on YouTube. Check out the first episode. We're bi-weekly, every other week. We got news for you guys. So make sure you check it out. Check us out on that. So we're out of here. Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh. That intro was